Welcome to San Diego, California for the opening round of the playoffs here for the CFSL. And it all kicks off with the Florida State Seminoles and the USC Trojans. I'm David Roy, and in the booth with me, as always, is the commissioner of the CFSL, Mike Peters. And Mike, there's nothing better than the opening round of the playoffs, but for a game like this, you're going to want your popcorn, aren't you?
Well, I would think so. These two teams won it bad. USC got to the championship game a season ago. Florida State gets in with some late minutes controversy, and they want to prove that they belong there. I think it's going to be a good game, and I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Florida State making their first appearance in the playoffs in CFSL history. USC, they made the playoffs the last season, played in the quarterfinal round, and made it all the way to the national championship game as Kane Robinson will open things up here for the Trojans.
I think it's really important for Kane Robinson to get going. He was a big part of that team that got to the championship game last season. He's only got 600 yards on the season. They're going to need to involve him more, I think, to get a win tonight.
Robinson with a 1,000-yard rusher a season ago as this pass for Marcellus Burney gets all the way out to the 45-yard line.
Well, they bring their DB in there, and he comes out of the backfield, a little angle route, and Kingston Fox does a good job finding him over the middle and getting the early first down. Hard to make a lot of impressions on what's happening early on in the game, but it is nice to see USC coming out with some diversity early on.
It's Florida State defense, very talented all the way across the board. They got talent at all three levels, but they will need that talent to show up here tonight as Robinson, struggling early on, had 2 yards on his first carry. His second goes for 3.
And again, Florida State's going to look to shut him down. If he gets going, has a 100-yard game, things get increasingly more difficult for Florida State. So far, they're doing a good job of slowing him down.
Kingston Fox looking to throw against a 3-man rush, and that pass, a laser, but Juan Cantu in coverage to break it up.
Now, Cantu this season tied the all-time record for interceptions in a season, also tied for the all-time lead in interceptions in a career with OPP of Auburn.
Fox dancing, goes to the left sideline. There's Seals backing his way out of bounds, but he moves the sticks with his first catch.
Well, and Fox has done this all season. He's spread the ball around well. I mean, you go from Robinson and Cope, who had 37 catches, up to the team lead, which is the tight end Sawyer Stern with 46. It's only a 9-catch difference over 8 games. They spread it around really well.
Speed option, the pitch late for Robinson, but he's got room to get the first down out to about the 23-yard line.
I think this has been something that's been missing a little bit from this USC attack, is that read option between Robinson and Fox coming in the game, only 988 yards between them rushing. I think they need to do more of that.
They'll go back to Robinson here on first down, and he'll get 6 yards with his 4th carry of the game. His yards per carry has come up well over his last 2 carries.
Well, they have the little option play, and then they hand him off on that little inside zone, and they're creating space for him to run now.
Fox to throw. Dancing goes short. There's Seals battling his way down inside the 5.
And again, they're doing a good job going to different receivers. They're mixing in the run and the pass. They're keeping this Florida State defense off balance, and they've got themselves in a good spot here.
Seminoles showing blitz, 9th play of the current drive, and it's a midline read. Kingston Fox fighting, and he will score for the touchdown.
Well, Juan Cantu didn't like him. He grabbed him and threw him back about 4 yards, but was a little bit too late there. Fox powers his way into the end zone, and USC, in front of the Southern California crowd here in San Diego, has the early lead.
A long drive at that, 9 plays, and nearly took up half the quarter to do so. But Florida State, Mike, their offense now, they need to respond, and they've got a pretty good backfield themselves.
Well, they do. Vidar Lund, only slightly more yards than Kane Robinson, 686. Adonis Jackson a little bit more active on the ground than Kingston Fox, but they're both very similar in their running games. Same kind of story for USC. Can they slow down the FSU running game and force them to pass?
The gun, Adonis Jackson to throw, and it's a quick one over to the left flats, and there's Jalen Waters picking up 3.
I think the one thing that happens here is if USC is able to slow down the run game, it's a little bit more difficult for Florida State to pass the ball with a plethora of 3-star wide receivers where they have 4 stars at USC.
Well, that's the way they can combat that, though, Mike, by adding in the corner Tom Pence on offense, and he comes up with a 12-yard play there.
Well, USC went with the corner Marcellus Burney on the first drive. He got a nice gain on the first down. Florida State does it with Tom Pence. You know, they're a little bit of tit for tat going on here.
Speed option, the pitch, Vidar Lund down the left sideline, and he'll get 9 yards close to midfield.
I think that was Burney that went after the quarterback, and it gave Lund some room there. Good job to stop him short of the first down, but both of these offenses executing very well early on.
Jackson going to give it to Loon to the inside, and he's got the first down and more down inside the USC 45-yard line.
2 carries for 17 yards is a good start for Vidar Lund. Only averaged 4.8 on the season, but did have 9 touchdowns, and he's looking good early on.
Monte Jones, a former USC Trojan, the man in motion. They're going to give it to Lund, and Vidar Lund will pick up 4 yards there with his 3rd carry.
Well, I like that Florida State's focusing on the run here, and they want to establish the run and create some opportunities to throw the ball, but I think the run game is their strength, and I think you got to stick with it.
It's still set. Motion man in the backfield for the triple option, but Adonis Jackson has to keep it and gets rocked by Goldsberry.
Yeah, Terrence Goldsberry is a big hitter back there at 43 tackles in the regular season, 3 picks, 5 passes defense. He can also lay the boom, as we see there.
Play fake, Jackson dancing, and he will throw that one away. 2nd and 10.
Well, one of the few mistakes that we've seen from either team early on, and he just overthrows it. Probably didn't really like the look he gave, and it sets up the 2nd and 10.
Bubble screen, left side for the tight end Jones, and a couple of stiff arms will get him down inside the 30, but it's a measly 3 yards.
Well, I feel like we talked about Monte Jones all season. He did lead the team in receptions with 51, but only an 8.4 average. You'd like to see that get up a little bit more, and still throwing short to him.
Wanted to set up the halfback screen, but the pressure in the face of Adonis Jackson, he has to throw it away on 3rd down, and so out comes Blake Harrell.
Well, it falls on Blake Harrell. Had a rough start to the season, has rebounded nicely. Will the pressure of the playoffs get to him?
46-yard field goal attempt from the left hash, and Harrell delivers.
Well, that answer is no. Blake Harrell, good job there from the left hash, putting that one right through the middle of the uprights. And Florida State didn't get the touchdown they wanted to match USC, but they had a good productive drive. And I think, as we talked about when this game was starting, we're set up for a really good one that's going to come down to the wire.
Zone goal line, Mason Winters. Not much on the return, courtesy of Tom Pence. Didn't even get back to the 20. And, Mike, that's another piece of this USC offense that really hasn't gotten as much love as he did last season.
Well, it is kind of interesting. It's been a really weird season for USC. They still had a good season, 4-2 in the Big Ten, but not a lot of big breakout performances.
Kingston Fox trying to come up with a big breakout run there, and he'll get 14 as Tom Pence is there to slow him down.
Well, Pence is active. They got him out on special teams, and he's back out there on the first play of the drive, making a tackle. Kind of Mr. Do Everything, and you know, we talked about it in the regular season. Now it's a playoff game. For a lot of these seniors, this could be their last game, so they want to fight hard.
Kingston Fox from the gun with Sawyer Stern, the tight end in motion. Fox dancing right, and he will throw it away, courtesy of the pass rush by the Seminoles.
Well, good job there getting in and creating a little bit of pressure, forcing Fox to be a little bit uncomfortable. You got to do that. You just got to do it a little bit more often.
Draw play here for Kane Robinson, but he is bottled up, had nowhere to go due to a sea of white in his face.
Well, the Florida State defense doing a good job of keeping everything in front of them and not. They're forcing USC to have to put together long drives, and eventually you hope they make a mistake or they got to punt it. Right now they got them in that situation on a 3rd and 12.
Fox to throw a 4-man rush on 3rd and 12, and he goes short of the marker, finds Sawyer Stern, and he'll get 9 yards, and the Seminoles force a punt.
Yeah, they were hoping that Stern could maybe pick up the few extra yards as they check it down underneath. Maybe not the best pass, but Fox led him a little bit too much and he goes out of bounds, and so they're going to punt it away, and we'll see what FSU can do.
Pence fighting for some yards here to help his offense start out better off than they would have otherwise. And now Mike Adonis Jackson looking to lead another scoring drive.
Well, he is, but they're going to need to get it in the end zone. And David, I know you, like me, for a second there thought maybe Pence had a chance.
I was curious to see where he would end up before saying he had a chance. As Lund, on his first carry there, had a chance to go the distance as well, but the Trojans fought to keep him corralled.
Well, I feel like if we're going to see a punt return for a touchdown, it's going to be something crazy where the guy bounces around and dances for 10 seconds and then breaks free.
Ocean for the speed option, but Adonis Jackson keeps it and runs it right up the middle to get the first down.
Nice and easy. Just take it with the quarterback, get the 1 yard, reset the downs. No reason to do anything strange or, risky, and they got what they needed.
Trips BAMA the screen, 4 wide. Handoff, Loon, and he gets met by the wall that is Xavier Holly of the USC defense.
Yeah, Holly comes up and puts a nice hit in there, stuffs him in the hole. Looked like Loon was going to get a little bit more, but Holly says, not on my watch.
2nd and 8, pistol set. Jackson giving it back to Loon to the inside, and he collides with Monte Jones. Still got 2, but might have had more yards.
Well, Terrence Goldsberry was there to make sure he wasn't able to get any more. And Goldsberry's having a nice impact early on 3rd and 6. This is an area where Florida State isn't the most efficient.
Jackson throws into the quick pass that gets batted around, and playing hot potato with it was the USC defense, but they drop it and force Florida State to punt.
Yeah, only tied for last in the league at 41% on 3rd downs is Florida State. Been a knock on them, and they weren't able to convert there, and now they're going to put the pressure on their defense to try to get a stop.
The punt muffed by Winters at the 10, and he's able to get it back to the 18-yard line, but nearly a costly decision for USC. But like both of these teams' drives, their second drives in particular, they end in punts.
Well, I think we see that a lot. You know, the first drive, you're kind of feeling each other out. You can catch them by surprise a little bit, but the second drive, they start to figure things out. Now you got to adapt.
Fox with the pressure from Akuma to Loke coming in after him, and he's able to complete that one to Seals for a gain of 4.
Well, Florida State's done a good job of getting some pressure and making some quick throws for Kingston Fox. I think that's what you need to do. Don't let them sit in the pocket and get comfortable.
Trips bunch to the left. Fox stands in and floats one into coverage, and he's lucky that all it was is incomplete.
Well, that was Kevin Watts coming in there and getting his hand on it to knock that one away. Nice defensive play there to set up the 3rd down.
Going to empty out the backfield here on this 3rd and 6, and Fox throwing short. Stern can't get the first down. Akuma to Loke there to stop him short.
Well, that's two drives in a row where they went to the tight end, short of the first down marker, and the first time they let him out of bounds, this time Taloke makes the play. So good job there by the Florida State defense. Now we got to see what their offense can do.
The first time tonight that either defense has generated a 3-and-out, and now Florida State looking to avoid that happening to them offensively.
Well, and they've only got 3 points too, so another 3-and-out or even a punt would not be great for them here. They really got to find some consistency. It's something they haven't really been able to do all season. 10th in the league in yardage, 12th in points per game. They got to find something here if they want to win this game.
Jackson dancing, finally finds Monte Jones at the checkdown. He fights against his former defense to get 9 yards.
Well, it was a short pass again, and Jones did a good job pushing forward to get some extra yards out of it. Again, I'd like to see a post route or something deeper with him.
Read option keeper, and Adonis Jackson gets a first down and then slides out to midfield.
Well, you could maybe call the Kingston slide. We saw Kingston Fox do that at Florida where he slid when we didn't think he should have, and it was short of a first down on a 4th down. This wasn't the same situation, but maybe an early slide.
Loon outside to the left and a stiff arm going to help him get the first down and more, pushed out of bounds at the USC 30.
Well, one man that's not going to slide, that's Vidar Lund, as he just says hello with his fist to Terrence Goldsberry and fights his way forward for a nice gain.
The muscle there just popped him right in the jaw, too.
I'm pretty sure that he saw Lennox Lewis or something in his, like swirling around his head after taking that one.
From the 31-yard line, USC territory, likely the last play of the first quarter. play fake. Jackson and a dropped interception by Peyton Miles.
Yeah, Peyton Miles had an opportunity there, but couldn't bring that one in. He's gonna be thinking about that one for a little bit.
2nd down and 10, last play of the first quarter. Triple option, the pitch, the tight end Monte Jones gets decked by Miles after he gets 3 yards, and we end the first quarter in a battle to see who goes to the semifinal round. You're watching the CFSL on PX1 Sports on YouTube Live. Start of the second quarter, and it's 3rd and 7. Trips bottom of the screen for Adonis Jackson. Looking, goes short, and having to jump for that was Kamorian Moore, and it cost him and his offense a yard.
A little extracurricular activity there by Jonathan Green, who we know had some choice words over the last few days. Maybe take it out as a frustration a little bit, although they got to stop. You got to throw the ball past the line of scrimmage on 3rd down. Neither one of these teams doing that well.
Another 46-yard field goal attempt from Blake Harrell, and it's again from the left hash, and this time he misses it.
Those aren't the easiest thing in the world. I know a lot of people think that, every field goal should be made, or at least anything under 50 yards. 46 yards, we got a 13-mile-an-hour wind going here. Those aren't the easiest things in the world. Eventually they're going to miss one. Harrell does there.
Midline read, Kingston Fox with some room, but it closes quickly. It's Kevin Watts. What a hit he's dishing out.
Well, I know Kevin Watts was fired up for the playoff game, and he wants to make his presence felt. He got in with the tip on the last drive, comes up with a big hit there. And, they get these guys fired both sides. They got a lot of guys on both sides of the ball that get fired up. It could change games. But if they all get fired up, I think we're going to see a really low-scoring game.
Store for one so far as they run the triple option, and Kane Robinson has room to get across midfield. Pickup of 18 for the Trojans.
Well, and again, I said this earlier, I think they need to use this more. I don't think they use it enough all season long. They go with the option there, and it gets them a big game.
This USC offense moving, and both teams were able to score on their opening drive. USC the touchdown, Florida State the field goal, but since then, the defenses have stepped up to play as Fox has to go to his check down in Robinson, who's able to turn upfield to get 7 yards.
Well, we talked about how close this game is and how defensive it is on the sportsbook this week. They picked this as a pick'em game, even though you could say that USC is kind of in a home game, only about 90 minutes south of Los Angeles. The sportsbook thought that this was a pretty even matchup between Florida State and USC. And judging by the way that people wagered on it, they think that's a bad line. They pretty much loaded up on USC. Right now, it's looking good for them.
Midline read. Here's Fox trying to find an alley to run through, but Kevin Watts there to stop him, or trying to keep him short of the first down anyway.
Well, Kevin Watts, he doesn't buy into USC should be the favorite. And he's playing his hearts out. They're going to need some more plays. They're going to need an interception maybe out of Cantu and Pitts. Something to kind of change the momentum here and get their offense going.
They fluster Fox on that play, and he has to throw it off his back foot on first down, and it ends up in the dirt as they'll come back to the gun on 2nd and 10. 4-man rush. Dancing right, in trouble, and down he goes.
Zach Howard gets in there, got pressure on the other side by Latrell Graves. Zach Howard's the one that cleans it up. We talked about it numerous times this season. These defensive ends for Florida State can make a difference. They do so there. They get the sack, and now it's going to be a long 3rd and 17.
Mike, on the 3rd and 17, third downs that are this long, what do you draw up to get out of this situation?
Well, I mean, you could go 4 verts, or you could dump it off on a halfback screen. Looks like they're not going to dump it off. We'll see what they do.
Empty backfield, and a quick throw over the middle for Marcus Seals, but it is incomplete as Cole was in coverage.
I don't even understand that. They went with a verticals concept, and they threw it to the shake route underneath. It didn't even really allow time for the rest of it to develop, and just kind of checked it down early, almost like they had resigned to punting it.
So they will end up punting it, but it is out. It's going to be close, down near the 11.
Yeah, Ricky Swan, the punter there, does a great job of driving that one out inside the 5. So a long field in front of the Seminoles here.
Inside the 6-yard line, pistol set, handoff. Lund has a massive lane to run through, and he'll get 10 yards.
I thought he was going to get a lot more than that, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes Peyton Miles to make the tackle short of the first down marker. It seems like a foregone conclusion that they're going to get the first, but you never know.
2nd inches. Jackson to throw. Taking a shot left side, but he way overthrows his receiver who stopped.
Well, they faked the screen at the top of the screen, and they took a shot at the bottom of the screen. I think the wind might have carried that one a little as it got away from Jackson.
The backfield, 3rd inches. Blitz in his face. Jackson to the right sideline, and it is caught. Tom Pence doing work on both sides of the field.
Well, there's worse guys that I'd throw to if you needed a go-to catch than Tom Pence, as he comes up there with his 2nd catch already here of the first half. And getting him involved on offense, I think, is a great idea here for Florida State.
What's crazy is Tom Pence has more catches in this game than he has interceptions this season. Is that pass offline and out of bounds for Adonis Jackson?
Well, Pence broke the cardinal rule of calling a shot before the season. And unfortunately, nobody in here is Babe Ruth, and he's kind of paid the price for it.
Adonis Jackson looking to throw on 2nd and 10. Goes short, but Kamorian Moore cannot hold on. Had contact with Xavier Holly there.
Yeah, Holly does a good job there. Plays tight coverage, hits him as the ball comes in to force a lose and set up the long 3rd down.
Jackson to throw, 3-man rush, goes short, fighting to get the first down is Waters, but he's only going to get 7 yards. And Florida State will have to punt, as Mike, both defenses have stood up over the last 3 drives.
Well, you got to show you want it on 3rd down, and neither one of these teams look like they want it on 3rd down. They're just checking it down short, and they're not getting the first.
Mason Winters trying to get some big plays on the return there, not able to do so. And really, Mike, this game could be closer if Blake Harrell makes his 2nd field goal of the night. It'd be 7-6 right now. Instead, USC an opportunity to really put things further out of hand than what they seem to be. Robinson, a 10-yard run there, 2nd and inches here for the Trojans. Kingston Fox in the pistol. Sawyer Stern in motion to get split wide, and a wide receiver screen for Tim Cope, who shakes off one tackle but cannot escape Tom Pence.
Well, he got the first down, and that was the important part. But I'd like to see both Cope and Winters going deep and testing these corners. Now, granted, both of these corners are 5 stars, excellent athletes out there, so it's not an easy feat. But if you're just going to play the safe game short and underneath all game, you're playing with fire, I think.
Draw play. Robinson got ran down from behind by Latrell Graves. No gain on the play.
Man, I'm trying to think of an appropriate analogy here, and I didn't want to make fun of him because he's a bigger guy, but I felt like it was like Shamu shot out of a cannon there after him.
Empty backfield in the pass to Marcellus Burney as he's pushed out of bounds after a gain of 7. A very manageable 3rd and 3 here for the Trojans.
Yeah, lots of options. They could go with our standard read option. They could go triple option. They could go to short pass. Probably not going to take a shot, but they got a lot of options of what they could do.
Read option keeper, Kingston Fox, the first down and more as he nears the 35-yard line.
Well, I think if he would have took it just a little bit more outside, he could have maybe set up a block. I thought he had a lane, but he stays too far inside and allows the tackle to be made. Still, nice play on the first down.
Midline read here. Fox finds an alley to run through and gets 8 yards on that carry.
Yeah, Kevin Watts gets in there again. He's kind of playing center field back there, watching where Fox is going and getting over there to make some plays. But unfortunately, you can't keep allowing him to picking up 7-8 yards when he touches the ball.
Down inside the Florida State 30. Fox back in the gun on 2nd and 2. Read option keeper again. Fox cuts inside, and that'll get him down inside the red zone.
Well, again, they're going back to their read option. We talked about it early on. I think that's the key for them winning, using that read option, keeping this defense off balance. Right now, they're doing a good job of mixing it in.
The backfield, Fox, 4-man rush, goes to the left side. There's Burney down inside the 5, a gain of 15 for the Trojans, and it's 1st and goal.
Well, Burney's got his 3rd catch, who outdoes Tom Pence now, who has 2 catches. It kind of feels like in the middle of this game, there's a mini game going on between Bernie and Pence.
Not just on the defensive side of things, but on the offensive side of things. Who's going to have the better receiving game?
Yeah, it's a kind of an interesting, subplot to watch.
2-by-2 set, goal to go. Midline read, Kingston Fox bouncing it outside to the right, and he is met by a trio of Seminoles, held to a 2-yard run.
Some might have thought go up the middle there, but Tukalok was there, and I like how he tried to go to the outside. He just couldn't outrun the defenders. Really good pursuit there by the Florida State defense to force the 2nd and 3.
10th play of the current drive, empty backfield here for the Trojans. Quarterback run, and Fox not in the end zone, 3rd and goal.
Well, interesting call. I wasn't necessarily expecting that, although it makes sense. They tried to give it to Fox to power it in like he did on the first touchdown. Wasn't able to do it there, though.
Gun, read option, Kingston Fox, touchdown, USC.
It's so hard to stop a read option team down here because there's so many things they can do. They can hand it off there, which they covered, but then you got Fox behind. You got to worry about a short pass, so you can't just keep your eyes in the backfield. Well done there on that drive by the Trojans.
Lemieux makes it an 11-point game, and Mike, we've seen 2 touchdowns scored at all in this game, and both of them have been by the Trojans.
Yeah, Florida State's offense, and we've talked about this a few times this year too, not really built to come from behind. Don't have a star-laden group of receivers outside of Monte Jones. They got 3 3-stars out there. They've been very effective, but I don't know against this defense if they can really break plays deep, which you're going to need to if you fall any further behind.
Dennis Jackson going to start the gun, trips bomb the screen, and he'll give it to Lund outside to the right, and a stiff arm gets him 4 yards, but the Trojans in hot pursuit.
Lund has now introduced himself both to Terrence Goldsberry and Peyton Miles now with that right cross.
Seminoles take their first time out of the night as standing in is Jackson going to take off and run, and then he will slide, wanting no part of Peyton Miles.
Well, one thing that USC's doing that Florida State isn't really is using that read option. They ran Lund a few times to good effect, but they're not really using Jackson as a counter to that.
Empty backfield on 3rd and 3. Jackson throwing left side, and that pass caught by Pence on the sideline, his 3rd catch.
Well, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. I think they both have 42 yards receiving, too. So this is almost, you're too young to remember this, but the older folks in the league will remember the Jordan versus Bird commercials where they were taking shots and they'd like throw it off the backboard and then it'd be up in the rafters and then they were like on the bridge. And this kind of feels like we got going on here between Bernie and Pence.
Jackson to throw on 1st and 10. Has time, dances to his right, steps up in the pocket, throws into traffic, and that pass broken up.
Well, Goldsberry is like, I want a little bit of that action too, and he gets in there to bat that one away. So I guess we could compare Goldsberry to Kevin Watts if we want to do another subplot in here.
Seems to be the trend that we're going for. Both of them have laid a couple of big hits as well tonight, in addition to knocking down some passes. Jackson on 2nd down, he'll thread that one in for Kamori and Moore. He'll get 5 yards.
Well, and now we're back to the uber conservative passing game where we go halfway to a 1st down. Now, that's the Bill Walsh style of football on 2nd down. Throw it halfway and expect your receiver to get it. He did it, so now you need another 5.
Halfback screen, and Adonis Jackson, under duress, has to throw it away. And Florida State will call upon their punting unit.
Well, this is why I don't like playing it safe on 2nd down, because you never know what's going to happen on 2nd down. Are they going to dial the right play for you, and are you not going to get any yards out of it? You're not really giving yourself a chance. If you wind up in the 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, I don't mind it as much, but you got to set up those shorter situations where you got more options.
Well, and Mike, they're trying to run those halfback screens, and USC is blitzing on them, but the speed of that defense, Adonis Jackson doesn't have time for the screen to set up.
Yeah, I feel like Tom Pence is on the sideline, does not compute. He knows it's supposed to beat the blitz, but they're too fast. He can't get it off.
Meanwhile, Kingston Fox and company looking to extend this lead, and his first pass is incomplete, unable to get the feet in bounds. Believe that was Cope.
Yeah, just led him a little bit too far, but Fox overall, though, has been the sharper quarterback. The offense has been sharper overall as well.
The gun, Kingston Fox has to get out of his hands quick, and I'm not sure if the ball was free, if it was a fumble or just an incomplete pass, and everybody thought it was a fumble.
No, I think it was an incomplete pass, and somebody was trying to pick it off. Watts lays the boom there and pops that ball loose, but nobody could catch it.
Handoff, and Kane Robinson fighting. He's got the first down, dragging Seminoles across the 35-yard line.
Well, that's going to be defeating for the defense when you force them to a 3rd and 10, and then they just hand it off, basically giving up on the drive, and you give up 18.
USC takes their first time out of the night. Halfback screen, left side. Robinson, nowhere to go with it. He'll lose 4 and another timeout called.
Yeah, I don't really like it. I get it. There's walk-on defensive tackles in the middle, but there's too much speed on either one of these defenses to run those too often.
Fox, a shot to the left side. There's Cope, and a nice chunk play there for 18.
I think they need more of them. So they got to push it further downfield. They got to get Cope and Winters more involved, like we talked about. But they haven't really done it much. Now they're being forced to a little bit, even though they're already up 11. But if they keep doing that on this drive, and even at 3, it's just, driving that nail a little bit deeper and deeper in against Florida State.
39 seconds to play here in the first half. Ball spotted the Florida State 49. There's Stern over the middle. He'll get 5 yards.
And Stern keeps getting the short passes there. I don't like it here, though, because you're just wasting time.
Fox. Again, he wants it all. To the right side, Mason Winters. Touchdown, USC.
Well, it seems like we haven't seen a Mason Winters sighting in weeks, but he comes through big here at the end of the first half and gets the big touchdown, and USC up 21-3 after this PAT at the half. What a half of football for the Trojans.
We talk about Florida State not being built to come from behind, and they're in the position where they have to do exactly that. What all do they need to be able to pull that off and just tie things up, let alone get the win?
Well, they need at least 18 points, David.
Yes, I gathered that much, but how would you recommend that they do that?
Move the ball downfield.
18 seconds left to go in the half. And Adonis Jackson in the gun, 2-by-2 look. Blitz in his face, trying to float this one to the side. Jalen Waters got a foot in for 20 yards.
I wasn't sure if they were going to give him his foot in. I don't know if they'll review it or not. We can take a look here. I thought maybe he was out, and I still think it was out. I don't know if they're going to review it, though.
They will not.
Touche.
So the ball comes out to their own 42-yard line. 2 timeouts for the Seminoles, and they're going to run it on first down with Loon. He'll get 2, and the Seminoles have to burn their second timeout.
They got to get something going here. They only got 1 timeout in 11 seconds. Not a great place to be.
The backfield, Jackson. 3-man rush. Fires a laser over the middle, and that pass falls incomplete. 3rd and 8.
Yeah, they just kind of got an anemic offense. 10 of 20, 88 yards passing. They're not really pushing the ball downfield. I think they've thrown the ball more than 15 yards once. It just not an inspired offensive performance by Florida State.
Jackson goes short left side, and Kamorian Moore was immediately brought down due to the speed of Marcellus Burney. 4th and 7, and Florida State's going for it.
They're going to just lob one up for Hail Mary. It will take the rest of the half. Why not?
Jackson dancing right under duress, throws that pass directly to Peyton Miles, who hauls it in and is, I guess, doing a pantomime to end the half there.
I think he might have got his bell rung a little bit there, and we saw a little bit of the nervous system reacting.
But either way, the half will end for Florida State on a sour note with the interception of Peyton Miles. They're already down 18. And, Mike, as we head in, things started close, but as that second quarter wound down, USC pulled away.
Yeah, well, they've kind of been in control this whole game. They drove down and scored on the opening possession. Florida State was only able to answer with a field goal, and then they traded some punts. And, even though we're showing Florida State's defense playing pretty well right now, I mean, really, if you're comparing the two offenses, USC's just been more effective. They've been a little bit more risk-taking. They've taken a shot. Of course, that one to Winters was a big play for a touchdown. They've ran the ball to a little bit more effect. They've been more aggressive with the read option. Just everything going USC way right now. I think Florida State's just been too conservative, and that's really biting them right now because their defense isn't able to play well enough to slow down a really good Trojan offense.
You look at the two offenses there, and you mentioned it. That's really the big difference. So at this point, Mike, if you're Florida State, what do you do to generate more production as an offense? Is it shots downfield? Is it more runs with Adonis Jackson? How would you call this second half?
From the sideline.
I asked how, not where.
I would call it from. How would you call it? I would call it from the sideline.
Tom Pence on the kick return, and a kick return for a touchdown from him would be nice, considering he's the one who ended the drought during the course of the regular season.
Well, we've only had 4 this season, and they all came in the last couple of weeks. So I think there's a better chance that Adonis Jackson returns a punt for a touchdown.
First down and 10, and it's the first drive of the second half. Handoff, Vidar Loon running left side, and he'll get 7 yards there.
Well, if you're going to start with a run like that, I don't have a problem with that. He's doing well running, but you got to run the read option off of it. You got to make the defense start pursuing Loon and then hit him on the backside with the option.
For wide, back to Loon, this time to the right, and a major stiff arm being dished out to Miles.
Well, right now there's no real threat of the option, so Miles can just run downhill. If he's got to sit back there and wait a little bit to see if they hand it off, there's a little bit more room, and maybe a block or a pick creates, and they get even more yards out of it.
Read option keeper, Adonis Jackson running left, and he will run through Terrence Goldsberry on his way to an 8-yard gain.
Well, I would call a lot more of those along the way. Here, midfield, 2nd and 2, a great opportunity to try to take a shot downfield, although USC is in a cover 3, not going to give a lot of options.
Midline read this time. Jackson shakes off Xavier Holly and then is able to do just enough to move the chains.
Yeah, not really a good play call against that cover 3. You want to try to attack it with flood concepts. You're not really going to beat it deep. You're really not going to beat it with the run. They were lucky to get the first down, but right now they're just not adapting to what USC's calling right now. Looks like they're going to cover 4 here.
Wide receiver screen, right side. Jade Brady gets the 9 yards with it.
Well, that's what you want to do when the defensive secondary is all playing off and playing 10 yards plus deep. You throw a screen underneath and try to get some easy yards. Try to draw up that defense so you can take a shot. USC's just not biting. They don't want to give them anything over the top.
Jackson throwing over the middle. There's Jade Brady again, his second catch, and it goes for 9 yards on back-to-back plays.
Well, that's the one thing you got to give credit to USC for is they're forcing these long drives from Florida State as well, and Florida State's just not doing as good converting those.
Read option keeper Jackson, a stiff arm gets him into the open field. Adonis Jackson in a foot race for 6.
Well, they used the read option more that drive. Unsurprisingly, they get a touchdown on that drive. Now they need their defense to get a stop. Keep using that option, and you can fight your way back into this game.
A big run there by Adonis Jackson to close the gap and make it an 11-point game. And, Mike, really, that is a touchdown that Florida State desperately needed.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely a shot in the arm for this Florida State team. Now we'll see if their defense responds, can force either a turnover or a punt, get the ball back and see if they can build off of that drive.
USC will have their first opportunity of the second half to dial up a response as Mason Winters, decent return out to the 32. And Mike, if you're USC and as you come out to this second half, do you expect more of Kane Robinson? Do you expect them to open things up and really try to put this one away?
I expect them to keep doing exactly what they're doing.
Bubble screen left side. Here's Sawyer Stern. Breaks one tackle, breaks a second, and then is finally dragged down after a gain of 11.
Well, and that's I think it's the longest pass that Stern's had so far, and that's a good one. They get him on the outside, they get the first down, and again, they're just doing a really good job of keeping this Florida State offense off balance. A lot of different looks and concepts, being a little bit more creative and a little bit more aggressive than Florida State.
Their own 42. Stern, the tight end motion. Fox pumps, throwing, jump ball, and well over the head of his intended target. Second down and 10.
Well, when you got 2 guys covering the receiver, you just want to throw that one to the warning track. Either he's going to haul it down and run into the wall, or nobody's going to get it. That time, nobody got it.
Fox to throw on second down. Has to go to the check down. Stern in the flats, but he has got room to run all the way out to the Florida State 41, a gain of 18.
Well, Kevin Watts is over there, and he's trying to get hype after that, but they're giving up the first down, and I actually think Watts is a little frustrated. He's like, I got 8 tackles, and we're still behind. He's playing one of his best games of the season. He needs the rest of his guys to show up. They need some guys out there like Cantu and Pence and Rob Money and their 2 defensive ends, Howard and Graves, to make some plays. And right now, they're just not able to make enough.
Cantu, mentioned it, tied for closing in to being tied for the single season interceptions record. He's got 6. The record is 7, but he is tied all time with Ollie P. Peters with 13 interceptions on his career.
It's been an impressive career and an impressive season for Juan Cantu. Can't really say enough about what an impact he's had on the league.
Florida State would like him to have a bigger impact in this one as Pence comes downhill to stop Kane Robinson at the line of scrimmage.
Well, they're doing a pretty good job of keeping Robinson contained. The problem is Kingston Fox doing well when he keeps the ball and he's being able to find the receiver open. They might need to start bringing some more pressure.
The 9, here's Fox, halfback screen. Kane Robinson not able to do a whole lot. Juan Cantu, the first man there.
Well, that's a good job there. On third down, you think they're running the halfback screen. Maybe you rush 3. You'll send the defensive tackle after him. The big fatty can't chase him down, but you got the backfield player there to make the tackle. Good job there by the Florida State defense.
It's a 54-yard field goal attempt for Petey Lemieux, and maybe not surprisingly, he misses it just too far to the right.
Well, that's the reason I don't really like that play call on third down is you don't get enough yards. I mean, as I mentioned, there's a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind blowing. It's not the easiest to kick in that, especially from 50 yards. And you kind of played with fire there as you're given good field position here to Florida State, who's got a little bit of momentum building.
They're down 11, but they open up, quick pass, getting 4 yards and trying to get Adonis Jackson into a rhythm passing, much like he did running on the previous drive. They go bubble screen here, and Jalen Waters gets 5 yards.
Well, they set themselves up in a good situation here on 3rd and 1. They went short on 1st and 2nd down, but they gave themselves a lot of options here to get the first.
From the gun, Adonis Jackson. Handoff to the walk-on, and it gets blown up. The canine of the Trojan defense in the backfield.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why that was the option you went with. You give it to your walk-on 3rd and 1 there in a situation you're trying. I mean, even if you keep with Jackson, he holds on to it, takes a 3-yard loss. That's no different than punting it there. I don't know. I don't really like that call.
It's the first appearance of the night by Benjamin Kay on this defense, but it's a big one to give the ball back to this USC offense. They're up by 11, and this drive, they can make that a 3-score game.
Well, it's important for the Florida State defense to lock them down again and not give an opportunity at anything more than 3.
Kane Robinson found a crease to work with, and he's able to turn that into a 7-yard run.
Well, I said that on the last drive. They had done a good job of locking him down. I forgot those couple of big plays that he broke free with in the 2nd quarter. He's having himself a pretty good game.
Well, the Seminoles are trying to lock down Kingston Fox as they hold him to minimal yardage there, but he still gets the first down.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a big explosive play. You just got to get first downs, keep moving yardage, keep moving the chains, and they're doing it right now.
On 1st and 10. Fox flustered in the backfield and throws it away. Second down and 10. Fox has to get it out of his hands quickly. 3rd and 10 upcoming.
Well, big stop here, although it was mostly good coverage in the backfield and nothing open for USC. But now they got to get the stop here. Don't allow them to get this first down.
Fox dancing, taking a shot left side, and incomplete.
Well, I could tell when that left his hand, it was going to be too far outside. So not a good job for Fox. Good job by the Florida State defense. Coverage-wise, didn't really give them anything open. And so now they get the ball back. They're going to have to convert here, though. They need to move the ball down the field and convert it to points. 7's ideal, but a 3 wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
USC saw a 5-play drive come to an end with a punt and a huge hit for Tom Pence, courtesy of Digby Krause on the special teams.
Yeah, it's the first time we called Krause's name, and he gets down there with the big hit. Pence, fortunately for Florida State, held onto the ball. Now let's see if they go back to that read option game, which worked so well for him earlier in the quarter.
Tried to stop the screen, handoff Lund outside to the right. Fighting with Xavier Holly, but only a yard for him on his 13th carry.
Well, that's part of that read option. He can go with that outside run, or you can take it up the middle. They gave it to Loon there. Good pursuit there by the USC defense.
Pistol side, Adonis Jackson going to give it back to Loon, this time to the inside, and he'll get 6 yards as opposed to the 1 on first down, 3rd and 3.
Well, again, anything 3rd and 3 unless he got a lot of options. Wow, Digger Kraus, 10 tackles. I did not realize he was having that good of a game. Right now, maybe a QB draw here.
Jackson to throw. He goes short, and getting laid out is Kamorian Moore by Marcellus Burney.
Well, he had a lot of time to wrap that one up and absorb the hit. They go all curls there, and he goes to short curl. He's wide open. They were playing too far off. He just holds on to it, knows he's going to get hit. He braces it and gets the first down.
Pistol again. Monte Jones, the tight end in motion. Read option keeper and Adonis Jackson fighting with Peyton Miles to get 4 yards.
Well, I like that they're going with the option. That's what they need to do. It's how they scored their only touchdown of the game. They got to be consistent with it. I wouldn't mind seeing them take a shot at some point here. Too high safety is a good time for it.
Read option again, and a crease for Adonis Jackson will get him the first down, wrestled down by Xavier Holly.
Well, they're going with Jackson a lot here. An inside zone for 5 or 6 yards, and then taking a shot wouldn't be the worst thing in the world here. But again, they got a too high safety with a press look on the outside.
Bubble screen right side, and the ball jarred free by Marcellus Burney to force the incompletion.
That's a terrible play to call against that look there. You don't want to call that. You need to audible out of it. And even more so, Burney, they're trying to rip that one out of there. Great defensive play.
Bubble screen, and that one in the dirt. Adonis Jackson wanting no part of that, putting his offense in a 3rd and 10 situation.
Big spot here. They're going to come out in a 3 high look. Looks like it's a cover 3 man look. So they're going to have to run some kind of combo coverage to get somebody open. Or combo route.
Jackson dancing. The pressure gets home, and it hits him as the ball comes out of his hand. And an incomplete pass on 3rd and 10, and the Seminoles will punt.
Florida State just doesn't look prepared to adapt to what USC is doing defensively, and it's holding them back. Now, granted, they don't have the receivers necessarily that can create the separation that they can on the USC side of the ball, but you can help them out with your route combinations, with your plays earlier on, not to set them up in 3rd and longs, and Florida State's just not doing that right now.
1:08 to play here in the 3rd. USC back in possession. Kingston Fox in trouble. Down he goes, courtesy of Zach Howard.
Well, we met Zach Howard last night on a little community conference call. Really nice guy, really excited to be here, and you can see he's fired up as he gets in there with the 2nd sack of the game. Gives him 8 for the season, and a nice debut season for number 91.
Well, it certainly helps Florida State because now you're backing up the Trojans inside their own 15. And a long 2nd and 16 here to go. Fox calling for Stern to come in motion. A look to throw, dancing to his right, steps up into the pocket. Finds Robinson on the check down, and he is met by Akuma Talok after a 12-yard pickup.
Well, it was good coverage downfield. They gave a lot of space there, but then they allowed the check down there. Took a lot of time off the clock. It was a great overall coverage, but eventually USC does a good job finding the open receiver. Gave up a little bit more than he wanted. Typically a sack is going to lead to the end of the drive. That time they gave up too much on 2nd down, and now they gave USC some hope here on 3rd down.
Well, spot at the 26-yard line, 3rd and 4 in an empty backfield. Blitz coming. Fox able to beat it and finds Burney for a first down.
All right, where's Tom Pence? It's on him to get a catch on the next drive now.
The duel between the two-way players continues. Well, spot at their own 31. Here's Kingston Fox in the gun. Trips bunched together at the bottom of your screen. Fox in the pocket, going into the flats left side. There's Winters for 3 yards.
Well, if Tom Pence had eyes in the back of his head, he would have been super surprised, and all 4 of his eyes would have lit up as that ball was coming in. But unfortunately, he doesn't, and it was a completion for 3 yards.
Speaking of threes, it's the end of the 3rd quarter. Florida State down by 11, and USC a quarter away from going to the semifinals. You're watching the CFSL on PX1 Sports on YouTube Live. start of the fourth quarter here from San Diego, California, and the Poinsettia Bowl, the site for this quarterfinal matchup between USC and Florida State. And the bubble screen for the Trojans gets back to the line of scrimmage with Tim Cope, but nothing more.
Florida State's doing a good job of keeping that contained, and now they force a little bit longer third down here. They got a shot to get him off the field.
Fox floating that one into coverage, and a great job by Ben Cole to knock it down.
Well, that's only Cole's second pass deflection of the season, but it's a big one there. You force them to punt here to start the fourth quarter. If your offense can put together a drive, we've got a thrilling conclusion upcoming, I think, for this game.
Return, Tom Pence, out to about the 36-yard line. And Mike, a quarter to work with for Adonis Jackson, but you're down by 11. And as you have pointed out, we have not seen the Seminoles really take a shot downfield.
Well, we haven't seen a punt returner go to the right either, and it's driving me crazy.
Well, here's a wide receiver screen to the right, and a dangerous one at that. Jonathan Green had 6 points in his hands, but couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah, I think he saw his fourth interception there, and his eyes lit up. Not 4 eyes, just 2, but either way, he wasn't able to hold on to it.
Trips top the screen. Handoff, Loon running outside to the left. He's got the edge, and that will get him across midfield down to the USC 46.
Well, Loon's got a nice game, up over 100 yards, and I think they've done a good job with him. They started to use the read option a little bit more in this half, and that's helping him out, and I think they can do that all the way down the field. I think Adonis Jackson's big part of this offense. He's a key to the offense. Got to use the running, but you also got to take some shots. You got press coverage on the outside. It's a good chance to look at it.
Play fake, pass over the middle. There's Waters getting 16 yards on the play, and the Seminoles offense seems to have found a rhythm.
Well, they didn't go on the outside, but they got the post route over the middle. It was a nice gain, and that's what we need to keep doing. J.P. Krause, 13 tackles. What a quietly impressive game he's had.
I was going to say on the previous play, he's like, oh, he's got his 12th tackle. No, he's got 13, and he's going to keep racking them up the way he is going. Play fake, Jackson in trouble, able to get out of it and still throw it away.
Well, he was kind of stumbling and bobbling backwards and gets rid of that one. Lucky that wasn't more dangerous and didn't get picked off. But you got to hand this off to Loon, top of the screen.
They will, and Vidar Loon outside to the right, fights off Xavier Hawley, but Peyton Miles coming downhill to hold him to a 1-yard run.
Well, USC just said, what are you talking about, fool? We're too fast for that.
3rd and 9, ball spotted at the USC 29. Trips top the screen. Adonis Jackson to throw. 3-man rush. Goes short over the middle. There's the tight end Monte Jones down inside the 25, a gain of 5.
Well, and again, going too short on 3rd down, not going for the 1st down. Now, granted here, they probably knew they were going to go for it on 4th down, but just very conservative.
Empty backfield and a crucial 4th down. Jackson to throw. Short left side and the 1st down for Jalen Waters.
Living so dangerously there. Green gave him some space, and they relied on him to get that 1st down, and he does. But, man, if you're a Florida State fan, you cannot feel good about what you're seeing. Corner route, top of the screen.
Jackson to throw. Short left side, it is caught. Touchdown, Seminoles.
Well, they had the corner at the top of the screen, but it was covered well. He goes bottom of the screen, and Waters getting in there for the touchdown, his 1st of the season.
Take another look at this, and I'll be honest, I wasn't sure he was in.
I was a little questionable myself. Oh, he's got, I don't know. Did that right foot come down before the left foot? Obviously, USC thinks it did not. Florida State thinks it did. They said it stands. Touchdown.
It will stand. And so a touchdown for the Seminoles, and they will go for 2 to make it a 3-point game.
I think we're going a little levels play to the outside, maybe.
Jackson to throw. Left side. Coming back for it was Waters, and it took him out of the end zone to do so. The 2-point conversion fails. Florida State now down by 5. And they'll kick it back to the Trojans with 6:01 to play.
Yeah, you'd like to get the 2-point conversion there. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. You still need a touchdown, even if you kick the extra point. So I think you're okay here. You need a touchdown. You need a stop on defense. We'll see. USC, on the other hand, go back to that read option running game and try to put this game away.
The gun trips bottom of the screen. Handoff, Robinson outside to the left, has to bounce it back inside, where Zach Howard will catch him after a gain of 7.
Well, he did a good job of bouncing in and out, bobbing and weaving up and down, and getting the most out of that 7-yard run.
Second down and 3 here for the Trojans. 3 wide, 2 receivers bottom of the screen. Play fake. A quick throw over the middle for Stern. He'll get 4 yards.
Well, when you need 3 and you can throw a quick pass like that for 4 yards, it's really hard to defend. And a good job there. USC playing safe right now. That's all they need to do.
And off Robinson up the middle, and he will get 6 yards with that carry. Want to remind everybody that coming up, after about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this one, we'll take you to the Music City Bowl, the second site of our quarterfinals matchup here between Oregon and Alabama to decide which of those 2 teams will make it to the semifinals. Quick pass error on the wide receiver screen for Cope, and that brings us to 3rd and 3 for the Trojans. Some Fox to throw, going over the middle, and that pass dropped. Incomplete for Marcus Seals.
Yeah, ran a couple of crossing routes over the middle, trying to hit them open, but they bunched up 3 defenders in the middle that Florida State didn't give them a lot of room. And so a good job there creating traffic, and they forced the punt. Now we'll see if the Florida State offense can do what they need to and take the lead.
Adonis Jackson will take over from his own 29-yard line, down by 5. And he's got 4 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock to work with, including 3 timeouts. And start in the gun. Handoff, Loon. He'll get 2 yards to begin this drive.
Well, good job there by Benjamin Kay to get in there and make the stop, showing them that we're not going to let the run game go. We're going to force you to pass, and I think that's the right approach for this USC defense.
Adonis Jackson to throw, staying up the halfback screen. They finally are able to get it off, and Vidar Loon will turn that into a nice little play of 4 yards.
Yeah, I don't really love it, but Loon did a good job of getting what he could out of it. It's 3rd and 4. You still got some option. Theoretically, you could go with the read option. I don't love it here. They're going to pass, and I also don't love this setup either.
Empty backfield, Jackson goes short over the middle for the tight end Monte Jones, who battles his way out to midfield off the drag concept.
Yeah, they had a little mesh concept going underneath. A couple of crossing routes coming across the middle. They set a pick there, and he gets open underneath. So it wound up working well. I guess if you're going to run that formation, that's the right play to call. They execute it well, and now they get the first down. We'll see if they go back to the running game, if USC is going to allow them to pick up some gain in the run, if they're going to keep trying to force them to pass, which is what I would probably want to do.
4 wide, trips top the screen, handoff Loon to the left, and he is tracked down by Terrence Goldsberry, gain of 7.
Well, you know if they score here, they're going to go for 2. And if they get it, then it can change your approach for the USC offense. They can run this clock down and not leave you very much time with the running game.
Midline read, Adonis Jackson, though, bouncing it outside to the right, and he gets laid out by Goldsberry, but he'll get 7.
Well, if he was just trying to run some extra seconds off the clock, he accomplished it, but it was a really long and abusive route to go about it.
Empty backfield here, Jackson to throw, blitz coming, and he'll find Jalen Waters over the middle for a gain of 12 out to the 25.
Well, they run that concept a lot where they have the mesh underneath, and then they bring that dig route behind it, and that time they go to the dig route, they get that first down. I'd slow down a little bit, though, offensively.
Goldsberry's got 10 tackles tonight. Halfback screen, left side, Vidar Loon.
Now
Losing a couple there.
That's what they wanted to do there, is Digby Krause been a dog all night long, getting in there, making plays, and forces the 2-yard loss. It's not the worst thing in the world. You know you're probably going to pass anyway. You're running some more time off of the clock. The important thing to do here, though, is a field goal doesn't do anything for you, so you want to get, I would say, at least 5 to 7 yards in this play.
The 26-yard line, it's a pistol set. And a flag thrown. Somebody jumped, and it'll be the Florida State offensive line.
When I say 5 to 7, I meant 10 to 12.
Still second down.
So that penalty will upset Tom Pence even more than losing yardage on first down, because now it's 2nd and 17 instead of 2nd and 12. as Jackson goes short left side. Jalen Waters gets 5 yards, 3rd and 11.
All right, so they try to pick up what they can and make it a more manageable 3rd down. They know they're going for it on 4th down. You got a 3rd and 11. You need probably 7 to make it a manageable 4th down. A field goal doesn't do you any good here. You know, what they're going to call up here, I don't know. It looks like they're coming out in another cover 2 show for a deep curl would be good on the outside.
3-man rush. Adonis Jackson goes short. Vidar Lund out to the 20. He got 6. That makes it 4th and 6.
There's always picking the play that's like 1 or 2 yards shorter than I really think you want. 4th and 6, not a great situation to be in. It's another one of those cover 3 looks with the 3 deep safeties.
Empty backfield. This play very well could determine the outcome. Jackson, end zone, incomplete. Peyton Miles in coverage.
You got to give it to the USC defense there, specifically Peyton Miles. He was all over Monte Jones there. Great job in man coverage, and just there to knock that one away. Excellent, excellent ball skills. And USC needs to tip their hat to their safety as we see the head coach, Nate Easteron Scott, encouraging him as he comes off the field. FSU still has 3 timeouts, though, so this game isn't over.
USC going to try to ice the clock, and Kane Robinson getting a 1st down with his first carry of the drive will help to accomplish that.
Well, I guess if you're going to give up a 1st down, do it on the first play. You can't give up any more, though.
And off Kane Robinson, bats it outside, a 1st down and more, all the way out to the 45.
Well, that should do it unless something drastic happens. So USC jumps out to the early lead and then fights off Florida State, fighting their way back into that one. But does a good job and wins the playoff game and should set up a matchup next week against Auburn, pending the outcome of the next game.
Which would be a rematch of the national championship game from last season between Auburn and USC.
That would be an interesting matchup for sure. If Oregon were to win the next game, then they would face Auburn. So it really depends on that game, but it's going to be interesting. It's either USC against Auburn or Oregon against Auburn. So definitely a big game coming up.
Counter run, Kane Robinson gets it down inside the 15, and as mentioned, Oregon and Alabama will square off from Nissan Stadium in the Music City Bowl, which is the site for our 2nd quarterfinal round matchup of the night to determine who will play who in the semifinal round as Kingston Fox kneels it out to finish this one off.
Just an impressive job overall by this USC offense. Their defense did well for most of the game, kept Florida State's offense off balance. Their offense, especially in the first half, did enough. They were effective enough, and then their defense held Florida State in the second half, and they'll move on. And we'll see whether they'll be facing Alabama or Auburn, but credit to these guys for a nice season, kind of turned it on late. They got into the playoffs, and they get the playoff victory.
So the season has come to an end for one team in Florida State, although a great season for them in their return to the CFSL. Meanwhile, USC, they advance. They're on to the semifinals. We'll be back in about 30 minutes for the Music City Bowl in our last quarterfinal matchup of the night between the Oregon Ducks and the Alabama Crimson Tide from Nissan Stadium. For Mike, I'm David. We'll see you then.